What I'm going to talk about is the work of the FMO, the Financial Mechanism Office, who, as Ásdís explained, has the role of overseeing the implementation of the EEA and Norway grants in cooperation with the beneficiary states and the donor states. So the FMO is basically the secretariat of the donor states, the 3 donor states. First of all, I'm going to talk about what we do, and then I will talk about why we do it, and then very briefly, considering the time, I will mention how we operate the grants. We have 3 donor states. As you can see, it's Iceland, Norway, and Liechtenstein, and we have 15 beneficiary states in total. The recipient states, or the beneficiary states, are the EU member states with GNI per capita below 90% of the EU average. The increase in 2004, when we had the eastern states joining, marked also the introduction of the Norway grants, which is a separate mechanism, but both are managed by the FMO. And then we have Portugal and Greece are the countries who joined the EU before 2004, who were only in the EEA grants section of the funds. Just a brief overview of how of the financial contribution. Poland is by far the largest beneficiary state, with just over 800 million euros in the current 7-year period. And there you can see the breakdown. And then we have cross-border funds that are also part of the mechanism, which are distributed not depending on the country size or the GNI, but overall objectives. The financial contribution in the current mechanism in total is 2.8 billion euros. And that is 1.5 the EEA grants, and then 1.3 the Norway grants. And we have, as I said, we have 15 beneficiary states in total. But for the current period, we are only implementing programs in 14 of those 15 states. For the sake of time, I will not explain why, but it is Hungary, and there were some complications when negotiating things. We operate in 23 program areas. I will come back to that when I talk about how we do what we do. But in short, the program areas are decided by the donors, and then the programs implemented are result of a negotiation with the beneficiary states. And now to the why. We have the EEA agreement, and the EEA grants are an integral part of the EEA agreement. They are the other side of the coin. We know the rights that we have as members of or participants in the inner market, the EEA EFTA states, but with those rights comes obligations of participating in the market. So the EEA EFTA states, they have committed to being a contributor to the cohesion mechanism within the inner market. It's the other side of the coin. Some would say it's the admission fee to the inner market. And there are 2 main goals with the financial contribution. That is, of course, like in the cohesion fund, the reduction of economic and social disparities. That's very similar to the cohesion fund. But then we have, since 2004, this additional objective, which is strengthening the relations between the donor states and each beneficiary states. And this bilateral aspect is really what sets the grants apart from most other cohesion schemes. We have now, the current period is the 14-21 period. And we are now on the verge of entering into the 21-28 period. We work in 7-year periods with 3 years of additional implementation for each period. We are already very late, as you can see from the overview. In 21, we agreed that there was still a need for this contribution. In 22, the negotiation started. On 12th of September, just less than a week ago, the new agreement was formally signed. So we are already 3.5 years into the new period with limited time for implementation. So the next period is will have many similarities to the current one, but we will have a little bit of a different thematic priorities. It will be European green transition. It will be democracy, rule of law and human rights, and social inclusion and resilience. There is a considerable increase of the contribution, going from 2.8 million to almost 3.3. So the EEA grants will now be 1,800 million euros, and the Norway grants close to 1,500 million euros. Yeah, I think I will move on for sake of time. So how do we do this? These are the current thematic priorities. As you can see, they're very similar to the next ones. And currently we operate with priority sectors. It's innovation, research and education, poverty reduction and social inclusion, it's environment, energy and climate, it's culture and civil society, human rights and good governance, and justice and home affairs. So these are the 5 priority sectors. Each one of those includes a program area, as you can see here. We don't have time to go into this all, but for a short explanation, this is the menu. This is the menu that we offer to the beneficiary states, and they can choose from this menu what they want to implement in their own countries. And then we negotiate how that will be implemented in each country. And we have 7 programs on average per country. Obviously, the larger beneficiary states are better equipped to handle many programs, but in the smallest ones, we even have just 1 or 2. So we are running now over approximately 100 programs. And as I just said, we have the agreements with the beneficiary states. This is the program cycle. Then we have a program development phase where we sign the programs with the beneficiary states. Then we go into the selection of projects which are under each program. As I said, we have just over 100 programs, but we have 7,000 projects running in the current mechanism. So it's quite extensive. And then we enter the state of closure, which is now happening with the current mechanism. And here's just a short overview of who can apply. It's a mixed pool, and we have had a very good relationship both with our partners on the state level, but also between the individual participants in the projects. And that is where the bilateral aspect comes really strong, because we have examples of bilateral relationship that have outlived the project. So we have really created a bilateral cooperation going further than the actual funding period. I just want to, if you have any questions or if you need more information, we have an excellent data and results portal on our website, which you can look up various information. and also a media library with very interesting stories about selected projects. With that, I thank you very much. Thank you.